welcome back guys to another video. It is me, Ice Collects, aka Ice Stop Motions, and today we have a brand new figure review, and this is the Star Wars Black Series Night Trooper from the Ahsoka show. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my most favorite newest type of pickups because I love the Ahsoka show, and man, I gotta say, I really digged the Night Trooper scene. And anyways, let's just get straight into the review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, join the Discord, and let's get straight into this. Okay, so we have accessories, and this guy does not come with anything aside from his blaster, which I don't know what type of blaster this is from, Star Wars in general, but I gotta say, I really like it a lot. I really dig it, and I gotta say, there's not really too much about it. It's just a black coat, and that's pretty much it. But I do gotta say, it kind of slips pretty easily into his hand. I mean, it's not really that hard to get in. I mean, you just kind of pop it in, get his finger around, and it's pretty easy just to chuck into his hands, kind of slip it in. And that's kind of a problem with some of the Black Series. You can't exactly kind of slip it in as easy. Luckily with this guy, you can pretty easily, which is good. And I gotta say, I think I will be using this blaster a lot in future videos, like stop motions, when I do make some. Anyways, let's get onto the figure itself. Now, this figure stands at around 6 inches tall, and I will be showing some other figures to scale with it, like my Marvel Legends Iron Man. And I gotta say, this figure does actually scale pretty well with, your other figures. He is kind of slightly taller, but if you did see in the show, he is pretty damn big. And I also do have my Mezco Batman, so we'll just chuck him, right there. And, they're around the same height. I mean, around it. But at the same time, this guy kind of fits in because he's kind of the right scale. I mean, maybe he kind of should be slightly taller, but at the same time, you can't have him too big. I mean, if he's 7 inches, then, well, he won't scale perfectly with your other figures as well. But yeah, he scales pretty well. And I gotta say, I'm actually kind of surprised that he actually scales pretty well with the Mezco, because Mezco, kind of just, it's a little bit kind of smaller in the figure wise, but yeah, so far it's definitely really good on scaling. It'll scale with your other Black Series, of course, pretty normally, and it should be perfect. Now, let's get on to details. Okay, so onto the details on the mask. You have one side that is cracked open, seeing, the head sculpt of the, zombie undead person under there, which I really wish you could take off. And I'm still wondering, what is under this mask? A full head sculpt? Because, on the Dual Zen Darth Vader, there was a fully sculpted Anakin head under there for the most part, which is cool. And I'm wondering about the same, of course, on this. Anyways, on this side, it just looks like a normal Death Trooper. You can see, a little bit of the mangled skin under there. And you can see some cracks, of course, covered by some gold. Cracks all over the mask. A massive gaping hole here, which is pretty obvious. And, there's nothing really at the back, just a very small crack. Mostly clean on the back for the most part. And if we basically kind of just, move down a little, because that's really all that's on the head. If we move down to the body, there is a lot more battle damage. I mean, you can see wrapping all over him, and you can see some gold, some cracks everywhere. If I move him into light, look at all those cracks. Jesus, this man has been in battles. If you look at the arms, there's not really too much to the arms. My favorite bit is, this wrapping bit, on these kind of bits here, which I do kind of like. I mean, personally, that kind of just looks like Wolverine's claws, covered by, the wrapping. But anyways, and yeah, there's nothing really on the belt, really. I'm surprised the belt is not a little bit more battle damage, if you get what I mean, because, I'm surprised, that's all, but aside from that, it's not really noticeable. Got some cracks on this little box back here. If we move down to the legs, and I sadly did have to use a stand because this man didn't really want to stand up for the camera, but he's pretty good at standing for the most part. Anyways, and so we kind of get some more bandages around the legs, and some of them do cut off, which is annoying. I mean, I noticed up here before the review, the bandages do cut off, at the back. If I can get it to focus, right there, it cuts off. But at the same time, it's not a big issue, because you don't really notice it. But yeah, you got some more cracks, some more gold and all that. And this figure with that, it doesn't really have too many details. So there's nothing truly really to point out. But aside from that though, let's get straight onto one of the bits I'm excited about and kind of worried, and that is articulation. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so for the articulation, there's not really too much on the head. Now you can, look forward, but it's extremely hard. That's as far as he's gonna go, because if you kind of push any further, his head would probably pop off. He'll look up to all the way there, his vision, and he's kind of, just kind of pulling down, which is kind of a disappointment. But at the same time, these necks on the Black Series are definitely not that good. But aside from that though, he can do a 360 with the head, and his arms can't exactly move. Exactly, because of the shoulder pads and the limited articulation, you can get him to like around up here, and that's what you're getting. Oh, well, actually, if you bypass it somehow, moving the shoulder pads, you can get them up, but that just looks wrong, and it'll probably crease the action figure's shoulder pads over time if you do that. You do, of course, get, you can do this with the waist, but I don't know what you're going to be doing with that aside from, kicking him all around like in a cartoon. And of course, his arms can go all the way up to here, which is actually kind of disappointing. I was expecting a little bit more. His arms can all the way, go all the way down, like right there. And aside from that, he can't really go forward. There is no ab crunch, so he's not really going forward, but it is good enough. And there sadly is no articulation down here. Thigh swivel for the most part is pretty good. Same with on this one, which is pretty nice. This one's a little bit more stiff. And of course, he can't kick himself, which is kind of sad, but aside from that, at least his knee can go all the way here. So, but if you do have some limited articulation problems, just like put some oil on it or something, anything. Search up some tutorials and it should be easier to move after that. I haven't done anything with this figure, I've had him over for the last couple of days, been posing him. Anyways, you can move his boots pretty nicely, actually, which is pretty good, because I don't know what you're going to be doing. You can tiptoe, I guess. But aside from that, there's not really too much aside from, his hands being able to move, of course, which you probably could take out, but I'm not giving it a shot, because what am I going to put on there? But yeah, this figure, for the most part, articulation-wise, is pretty damn good. And anyways, let's just get straight to the outro. Thank you all for watching today's review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, join the Discord, and of course watch more. And if you do want more content like this, just tell me in the comments, or just keep watching, because I will be doing a second review. Anyways, see you guys next time. Bye bye.